Hello, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. My name is Edgar Wilson, Dynamics 365 Technical Specialist here at Microsoft. Today, we'll walk through a perspective journey of the volunteer coordinator. First, we will be a big who's actually wishing to volunteer for the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and also we'll take on the role of a adult that is trying to enroll their child into the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. We'll then pick that up from the role of the volunteer coordinator and work both the big and the little through the prospective process of becoming a match in the system, and then the ongoing process of ensuring that the match is successful. So this will show how this is entirely connected and there are not disparate systems as you have today with your AIM system, and how all of this can be kept all within the Dynamics 365 platform. Okay, so here we are within the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America website, which gives you the option to enroll a child, become involved as a big, which is really nice, but today we understand that this is actually kept separate from your AIM system. So our goal will be to leverage what is called a Dynamics 365 portal, which you're seeing now. So we can tie into your current website and actually give the ability to get involved or enroll a child and have that directly linked to your Dynamics 365 database without the need of a third-party integrator. So here I am, Vince Laurent, and I am wishing to get involved in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So I'll click Get Involved, and then I will fill out an application. Vincent Laurent, and I won't fill out everything. However, when we pick it up in the system, everything will be filled out. And as you can see, I've clicked Become a Big, and now what it has done is it's actually created that big inquiry within our system. And from here, I'll actually be able to see the status of this as well as receive text messages or emails as we go through the process. Okay, so now I'm taking on the role of Jane Weasley, and I'm wishing to enroll my child in the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America program. So the same that I was able to do with becoming a big, I can actually do to become a little. So I will come in here, enter the name as well as the other base information, and then I will click Become a Little. And what this does is it actually does the same as with a big, where it will create that record directly within our Dynamics 365 platform without the need of a third-party integrator. And then from this portal, I'll be able to see the status of who Ron is going to be matched up with, and then be able to receive those text messages and email alerts directly from the system as I go through the process. So now we will transition to the role of a volunteer coordinator. Okay, so here we are within our Dynamics 365 solution, and what you'll notice is now we've taken on the role of a volunteer coordinator. So as you can see here in our views, I've highlighted Ron Weasley and Vincent Laurent, who have come in through those records that we've created in the portal. So as a volunteer coordinator, as soon as I enter the system, I'll be able to see those inquiries that are entered, and now I can actually go through the process of addressing them and finding a match for both the big and the little. So now let's go through Ron Weasley's inquiry record. So as you can see here, we have a business process flow. So this will be very similar to that of what you see within your AIM system today. So you have to gather some baseline information here in the general stage before I can then move to the identify stage. So now that I've gathered all of this, I can progress this to the next stage. And one thing that you'll notice as well is it will actually let you know how long it's been in this particular process. So if an inquiry, has been sitting for an exuberant amount of time, we can send out alerts and, text messages, emails to management, letting them know that this needs to be addressed. And all of that can be done through the workflow engine, which we will show you an example of that throughout this particular demonstration. So now we'll kind of minimize this and just show you some of the base information here for the little inquiry. So here we can see the base information that was gathered. This would have been entered through that portal. Also the custodial adult information. And as we move to the right, you can also see activities. So any emails, phone calls, tasks, appointments that have taken place, all of those will be able to be seen directly here on this inquiry record. And the tight integration with Outlook can systematically move those emails and appointments and tasks directly into the system. Whereas with a lot of our competitors, that's an additional add-on. This is something that comes out of the box with Dynamics 365. So being able to stay informed on the communications is something that a CRM system is supposed to do at its core, and Dynamics 365 is unmatched when it comes to giving that ability to the users. Here we can also see our child hobbies, as well as specifics around the big, whether or not we want drinking or a gun owner or a smoker, age preference. And that will actually drive the potential matches, which I would like to highlight over here to the right. So utilizing intelligence through Azure, we're actually able to make intelligent decisions on who can be a potential match. So in the background, you can put in your parameters for, if the activities and the gender and the specifics around what type of VIG you would like to drive what the potential match is. You can see that directly here in the pane. So as you can see, it's found that Vincent Laurent is a 98% match based on the specifics that we have in there. And there are a few others here which are also close matches. So you can see that we can utilize Azure, which you've already made an investment in, to drive this match process. But we can also still make this something that is done manually to ensure that it is actually vetted properly. Also here you'll notice an interview section which can actually interface with the interview assessments that you have currently. And then another thing we wanted to highlight are the events, which you can actually track the events that the inquiry or the from the big or the little has attended. And then family. So being able to roll Ron Weasley into what's called a family record, where you can see their siblings and the parent, and communications that go out to either Jane Weasley or Fred or Jenny. For Ron specifically, can be sent to all if needed. So there won't be that arduous process of needing to send out a communication multiple times. So now let's go through our process, and we'll go through the identify stage. We'll actually enter all of the information here for the interview, and then go through our application stage, which may or may not be needed for the little. Go through the preferences for, whether or not smoking is something that we want, or drinking, the sports, orientation, his activities, which is computers, gun owner, so on and so forth. And now we'll actually enter our assessment. And this is where we will actually see some of that workflow come into place. So here, if I want to make a recommendation based on what Azure has actually brought back, which it looks like Vincent Laurent, which we'll kind of dissect his record here in just a second, has been the best match based on Azure. We'll want to go with that. I can just enter a recommendation and say Vincent looks to be the best match. And notice when I enter that there in the match recommendation, it also corresponds to what we have here in the actual form. Okay, and now that we've entered that information, one thing that I wanted to show is the ability for the workflow engine to automatically send out a text message to Ron Weasley's mother, letting him know that he's received the match. So here you can see when I updated that match recommendation field, a text message was sent out. And now we'll open this, and you can see it says, "We found a match for Ron. Hello, Jane. We've matched Ron Weasley with Vincent Laurent. A volunteer coordinator will contact you shortly with details. Congratulations." So this is just an example of how the workflow engine can send out information. We could also enter information directly from the mobile as well, which I'll be showing you here in just a second. So now let's transition over to Vincent Lorient and show you what his record would look like. So as you can see here, it's very similar in nature in the fact that we have our business process flow. However, this is specific to the big. So same record type, but a different process flow. So that's something that can be configured in the system here. So I'm grabbing a lot of the same base information here, and then we can progress this through the stages. So we have our interview, the application has been performed, we've entered the specifics around his preferences, and now we're here at the assessment. So we'll minimize this and just take a look at the actual big record. So here we can see a lot of that base information here for the big, the specifics around the interview, the activities. So you can see here text messages, surveys, emails, phone calls, all of that still being tracked. The preferences as well. And here you can actually interface with the background checks. So having the ability to automatically run those background checks and have it integrated to your Dynamics 365 system is certainly something that can be done here. So after we've gone through this process, now we want to go into the actual match. So I will go to the next stage, which actually is going to show the Vincent Lorient and Ron Weasley match record. So now I will go ahead and open this up, and we will go through what this particular process might look like. So as you can see here, we've adhered to the process for the inquiry, and now we can see specifics around the match itself. So here we have some base information, the match information, the region, the big and the little for which is associated here. If there are any other requests that need to take place, we also have the ability to do that here. Also, we have a nice little stack chart where we can actually show what caused these two to become a match based on Azure, or if this was done manually, it'll actually just allow you to see kind of how they look side by side. And here in the social pane, we actually can still have all of those activities that have taken place at Vincent and Ron's record roll up here, so you can see all of that activity. And another really nice thing about Dynamics 365 is being able to gauge relationship health. So as this match undergoes its process, and Vincent and Ron meet and they go out and to different events and so on and so forth, we're actually able to track the relationship health, which in this case, it's letting us know that the relationship is declining. They haven't had any interactions in some time. So maybe we want to, have alerts or text messages sent out to follow up with Ron and Vincent to ensure that everything's okay. Also, I can see relationship analytics, which is actually going to give me nice charts about these interactions that I've had with Ron and or Vincent. So here I can see the number of email messages, meetings, phone calls, number of times spent. Perhaps there needs to be more nurturing internally. The number of email opens, attachment views, link clicks. So if we've sent any specific information from our website, we can also view that information as well. And one other really nice facet that I'd like to highlight is the Office 365 Groups integration directly with Dynamics 365. So being that Vincent and Ron aren't a part of our Dynamics 365 system, one challenge may be keeping track of the appointments or any correspondence between the two. So with Office 365 Groups, what this will allow you to do is actually associate Vincent and Ron, which you can see we've added their email addresses here as members, directly with this Office 365 group. So now all they'll need to do is whenever they're having an appointment or corresponding via email, they can actually associate that to the group itself, and then internally within Dynamics 365, you'll be able to see all of that information. So over here, we can see that Vincent and Ron have a scheduled Tampa Bay Devil Rays baseball game that they're going to. Here in this conversations pane is where I can actually message out everyone within this particular office group through this conversations pane. And also any correspondence that go on between Vincent and Ron that are associated to this group, we'll have insight into that directly here within this conversations pane as well. Here you can see where I can upload any documents. So if, responses to, certain interviews that take place outside of the context of Dynamics 365 or any paperwork or any of that information we can upload here, which actually saves this to SharePoint. So you won't be leveraging your Dynamics 365 storage to store these documents. And also here you have the ability to associate a OneNote notebook to this particular match. So if I'm, wanting to write different notes about specifics about this this particular match, I have the ability to do that directly here in the system. So being able to see this at a complete 360-degree view from the inquiry all the way through the match was extremely important for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. So we wanted to ensure that we highlighted that. Now let's transition to showing this information within a mobile device. Okay, so here we are within my mobile device, and what you'll notice down here in this bottom left corner is the Dynamics 365 application, which can be downloaded directly to your phone. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Dynamics 365 application is device agnostic. So whether you're an Android user, iPhone, Windows Phone, you will be able to have access to the Dynamics 365 application. And it also works on tablets as well. And it's actually designed to fit and adhere to the screen size available for your particular device. So I'll go ahead and open this application, and what you'll notice is that the interface is very similar to that of the browser-based version. So all of the charts that I'm able to see within the actual browser-based version, I'll have access to directly within the palm of my hand within this mobile device. So all of these charts, I have the ability to click into these just as I did within the browser-based version. So if I wanted to see, the inquiries that were making up a particular portion, I could do that. Here I can see Ron Weasley's record, and I can actually see all of the specific information regarding Ron Weasley. So I could see all of that base information that we would have gathered internally, all here within my mobile device. And also have the ability to utilize voice to text to search. So let's go ahead and do a search for Vincent. Vincent. And as you can see, it's automatically performed that voice to text search. And now we can see Vincent Lawrence inquiry record. And we could also directly open up that Vincent and Ron match directly from within the mobile device as well. And we also have the ability to see the specifics around this particular match and also the relationship health. So as you can see, virtually everything that you have access to within the browser-based version can be accessed through your favorite mobile device. So that is the conclusion of the demonstration. Please feel free to reach out with any questions you have. We see this as an extremely viable solution and look forward to a partnership between Big Brothers Big Sisters of America and Microsoft. Thank you for your time and have a terrific day.